Okay, now we can ideally divide our economic system using a flow diagram describing the behavior of the real GDP in the short run, so assuming that prices are fixed and that the only change in the economic system regards the quantity produced of goods and services. So in this case, we can draw a flow diagram which we have households and firms, and we can identify all the flows between these two operators. Households supply um, the factor of production to firms, so supply capital and labor. At the same time, firms demand capital and labor to households in order to implement the productive process. After the production, so after the GDP have been produced and sold, um, firms pay income to households in different forms. So income in form of wage, uh, revenue, interest rate, and households um, has the possibility to use this income for demand of goods and services produced by firms. So using this flow diagram, we can understand the dynamic of real GDP in the short run. So if we start initially with a level of production equal to 100, for instance, this implies that firms, in order to produce 100, have to demand to households capital and labor to produce. And so, after the production process, we pay income to household equal to 100. Now, if uh, households decide to save household saving 10, this implies that consumption, well, the part of consumption of their income will be equal to 90. So now we are assuming that households um, decide to save a fixed amount equal to 10. But if consumption is equal to 90, this implies that the new demand for firms will be equal to 90. And so firm will decide to produce 90 and to pay income to household for 90 in order to repay the factor of production, labor and capital. But if the income to households is equal to 90 and they continue to save 10, in this case, the new level of consumption will be equal to 80. So save leaves this flow diagram, this demand cycle. So if we continue with this cycle, we converge to a level of income equal to zero, which is not reasonable. But we have a reduction, a continuous reduction in income, as we have seen in the part of our business cycle, in which the real GDP goes down and goes down the long run trend. But if we start again from the initial level of production equal to 100, and then from here income distributed to household equal to 100, what we can see is that also if saving is equal to 10, so consumption is equal to 9, if this saving is transformed in investment, by firms using, for instance, banking channel. Firms can use this saving to make investment in machinery, in raw material, in what they need to produce. In this case, the new demand will be equal to the sum of consumption and investment, so will be equal to 100. This implies that if the demand is equal to 100, firm will produce 100, and then income distributed to households will be equal to 100, and if they continue to save 10 and to consume 90, but the investment by firms continue to be equal to 10, this economy will produce forever an equilibrium of GDP equal to 100. So the equilibrium condition in this simplified economy is that the investment should be equal to the level of saving or household saving in order to have an equilibrium GDP. But if the investment is lower than household saving, as we have seen before the investment was equal to zero and uh, the household saving was equal to 10, and this we have seen that this implies a reduction, a continuous reduction in income, in this case until zero, but we will see that assuming that equation about the consumption, investment, so on and so forth, and not fixed amount of saving, we will reach a new lower level of equilibrium. But in this case, we have a recession, so a reduction in real GDP. The opposite holds if investment is greater than household saving. In this case, try to use an investment equal to 50. This implies that the new level of demand for firms will be equal to 105, 90 of consumption and 15 of investment. So the new production will be equal to 105 because firms produce the level a level equal to the we can call now total expenditure, which is consumption plus investment in this case. So the income to household will be equal to 105. If they continue to save 10, consumption will be equal to 95 because the income is 105. If the household saving is 10, consumption will be equal to 95. But if investment is equal to 15, this implies that the new demand will be equal to 110, 95 on consumption and 50 on investment. So firms will produce 110. So this implies that GDP, real GDP, will increase. In this simplified economy with a fixed amount of saving, which does not depend on income, we have a continuous increase in income. But we will see that income will grow until a new equilibrium level.